Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. This video is going to be on the Mythic Heroes series. We are continuing with the Martial. So without further ado, we will dive into the Martial Mythic class and go over the tier abilities you get, and if it triggers anything, I will go into in-depth on what I envision them being used like. The role of the Martial. As a Martial, your ability allows you to inspire mythic and non-mythic allies alike to greatness. In a group, you protect and push your allies to even greater acts of heroism. All the while, the powers of the Martial allow you to take the lead, help your companions, and take the fight to your enemies. Classes that are best suited for the Martial Mythic class are Bards, Cavaliers, Clerics, Inquisitors, and Paladins. Bonus hit points. Whenever you gain a martial tier, you gain 4 hit points. These hit points stack with themselves and do not affect your overall hit dice or other statistics. So, you start with Martial's Order, and then you get a path ability at first level and every level you gain. And it ends with Visionary Commander. Martial's Order. Select one of the following abilities. Once chosen, it can't be changed. Advance. A swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to inspire a tactical advance on the field of battle. This allows you and each of your allies within 30 feet to take either a single move action of the character's choice or a 5-foot step, as long as you or your ally has the ability to take such an action. For example, an unconscious character still can't take an action. The action granted by this ability does not count towards the number of or types of actions a creature is allowed to take on its turn. Decisive Strike. Excuse me. A swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to give one ally within 30 feet the ability to immediately make a single melee or ranged attack. On your turn, add your tier as a bonus to the attack roll. The damage dealt by this attack bypasses all damage reduction. This attack doesn't count towards the ally's actions on its turn. Rally. As a swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to rally your allies. This gives you and each of your allies within 30 feet the option to reroll any 1d20 roll after the roll is made. The guaranteed reroll must be used before the beginning of your next turn, and the creature must take the result of the reroll even if it is lower. I like Advance. And I like Decisive Strike. So if I was to do one of these, I'd pick that, and if I have the ability to pick another one of those, then I would pick the second one. So, Visionary Commander. At 10th tier, when you or an ally within 30 feet rolls an initiative check, roll twice and take either result. If the first round of combat is a surprise round, you and all allies within 30 feet at the start of combat can take a full round's worth of actions instead of just move or standard actions. Once per round, when you or an ally within 30 feet scores a critical hit against a mythic creature, you regain one use of mythic power. That is really good. So, Additional Order. You learn an additional Martial's Order ability and can select this ability twice. So I'd take that at least one time and get the one that I'm missing. Assured Skill. At times of need, you are virtually assured success when using a skill. As a free action, before you attempt a skill check, you can expend one use of mythic power to roll that skill check twice. So you get 5th edition's advantage for a skill check. Clarion Call. You bestow your wrath on your allies. As a swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to grant all allies within 30 feet the benefits of your active smite or channel ability, directed at the same opponent you are targeting with the ability. Only the constant effect from the smite or challenge are conferred with this ability, not the ones you can only use once. Deadly Guidance. You're able to point out the weak points in an enemy's defense, and your allies benefit from your tactical insight. As a swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to designate a single opponent within 30 feet of you. All allies within 30 feet of that opponent gain a sneak attack ability when attacking it, and can thus deal plus 1d6 points of damage when flanking the opponent or when the opponent is otherwise denied dexterity to AC. This sneak attack damage stacks with sneak attack damage from other sources. So that's real good. All your non-rogues now have sneak attack for an attack against that opponent, and then your rogues get an extra dice. Directed Assault. By finding a gap in the enemy's defenses, you allow your allies to take advantage of your discovery. When you confirm a critical hit with a melee or ranged weapon against an opponent, allies within 30 feet of that opponent add your tier to their critical confirmation rolls against the opponent. This bonus lasts for a number of rounds equal to your tier. So that's cool. If you can confirm a critical hit on an enemy, you give them your allies get a bonus equal to your tier to confirm critical hits. Now, if you're not using confirmation of critical hits, that's not as useful. So note that if you're thinking about taking it, but you just make a single attack roll. If it's a critical threat and it hits them, then it's a critical hit. Well, this one isn't good for you. That's more or less how me and my friends play, so that's why that one's not good for me. Distracting Assailant. You make a barrage of attacks and quick feints that are so distracting, your opponents lose focus against all other assailants. Whenever you successfully strike a foe with a melee weapon or natural attack, you can expend one use of mythic power as a swift action. For 1 round, that opponent loses its dexterity bonus to AC on all attacks against it other than yours. While this ability is in effect, your allies who flank that foe gain a +4 on attack rolls against it instead of the normal +2. Now, I see this better being used for the Paladin or Cavalier, because it loses its dexterity so your allies can flank it, which is cool, and then you are still fighting against its full AC, but as a Paladin or Cavalier, your attack bonus is high enough. It shouldn't hurt you that you left their AC so high. Focus. Your mighty and inspiring presence enhances the power of your companion's heroic surges. Whenever a mythic ally is within 30 feet, uses the surge ability, it rolls its bonus dice twice and takes the higher result. I would take that, especially as a bard character. Granted Stride. Your mythic grace means that you and your allies easily pass through undergrowth at full speed. Allies within 30 feet of you gain the benefits of woodland stride, as long as they can see or hear you, And it gives you more bonuses against the natural cover and stuff if you expend a use of Mythic Surge. Greater Surge. Your surge is more powerful than most. Treat your tier as if it was 3 higher for the purpose of determining your Mythic Surge die. Maximum 10th tier. When you gain your 10th tier, your surge die becomes 2d8. That can be useful, especially if you're using the surge die a lot. So if I was using my surge die a lot, I'd take that. Helpful Rebuke. You are equipped with stern yet helpful words of advice. Whenever an ally within line of sight fails a skill check with a skill you're trained in, hence being a bard is very useful in that, you can expend 1 use of mythic power as an immediate action and allow an ally to reroll that skill check with your bonus equal to your tier. If the new roll is successful, your ally succeeds at that skill check instead of failing it. But the ally that failed must be able to see and hear you. Heroic Block. With surprising speed, you can leap to an ally's defense. When an opponent makes a melee attack against one of your allies, you can expend 1 use of mythic power as an immediate action to move up to double your speed or take a 5-foot step. You must end this movement adjacent to the attacking opponent. When you end this movement, you can immediately use the aid another action to grant a bonus to your ally's AC. And then it gives you the core rulebook, page 197, to find out what that is, which is just like a +1 or +2 to the AC. This bonus is applied before the opponent's triggered attack. These actions don't count against your actions this turn. Inspire minions. When you use a spell, a bardic performance, or another class feature to grant a morale or competence bonus, your bonus increases by 2 for creatures with at least 4 hit dice fewer than you. For example, if you're a 6th level bard using to inspire courage, creatures with 2 hit dice or fewer receive a +4 morale bonus to fear saves and a +4 competence bonus to attack and weapon damage rolls instead of +2. I would take that. I'd take that, and I'd take the leadership feat, and then I have me a cohort of minions to use that on. Be a little kobold, have a bunch of kobolds, or be a goblin with a bunch of goblins, so on and so forth. Inspire defense. Whenever you use bardic performance to inspire courage, the competence bonus against charm and fear effects instead applies to all saving throws. That is cool. I'd take that as a bard. Inspiring surge. Your surge inspires non-mythic allies to greater acts of martial daring. Each time you use your surge ability, each non-mythic ally within 30 feet gains a +1 bonus on attack roll and damage rolls for the next weapon attack it makes before the start of your next turn. Lend power. You are an invisible asset to your comrades. Invaluable, not invisible. You are an invaluable asset to your comrades. As an immediate action, you can expend 1 use of mythic power or your confidence ability to grant the benefit of your surge ability to a mythic ally within 30 feet. The ally uses your surge die. That'd be okay, it's not great. Lightning performance. Your tongue is as quick as any blade. You can start a bardic performance as a swift action instead of a standard action. If you expend 1 use of mythic power, you can instead start a bardic performance as a free action. I would take that as a bard for sure. Loyalty. You gain leadership as a bonus feat. If you already have leadership feat, or if you take it later at a later level, add your tier to the leadership score. Whenever you use your marshal's order ability and your cohort within 100 feet, you can include your cohort as an additional ally affected by your order. So that is a cavalier's use of leadership with loyalty. It would still benefit somebody that's not a cavalier taking it. It's just that specifically is designed for a cavalier. Menacing presence. So something about you puts others on edge. You can attempt an intimidating check to influence creatures' attitude as a full round action instead of taking 1 minute. In combat, you can attempt an intimidate check to demoralize an opponent as a move action. I would take that as a fighter type in this, like a paladin or a cavalier. Mythic fascination. When you use the fascinate or suggestion bardic performance ability, non-mythic creatures take a penalty on their saving throw against it equal to half your tier. If you expend 1 use of mythic power when you activate the performance, the penalty also applies to the mythic creatures. So that's definitely something to take as a bard. Painful gambit. Facing off against you is never a safe option. When your allies stand beside you, when you are hit by an attack of opportunity, you can expend 1 use of mythic power as an immediate action to allow all of your allies to make an attack of opportunity against the creature that attacked you, if it's within their melee reach. Any version of this mythic tier class going into it, paladin, bard, cavalier, cleric, I'd definitely take that one just to give my allies a chance to have an attack of opportunity whenever I'm hit. And the more martial I am, the more likely I am to take that. So if I'm Cavalier, Paladin, and sometimes Cleric, I'd definitely take that just because I'd be there taking a hit anyways. Perfect Aid. Whenever you're successfully use an Aid Another action, your ally also adds your tier to their Aid Another bonus. If I'm using Aid Another often, I'd take that. But if I'm not, then that's a waste. But the bonus there is great, so just note that. Persuasive Continence. Whenever you encounter a creature whose attitude is at least indifferent to you, treat its attitude as one step better. Creature with plus... So, essentially, if you're using the different tables for the mood of the creature, this just makes it automatically take you as one step better than it should or would normally. Press the advantage. When an ally seriously harms a foe, you seize the moment. When an ally within 30 feet confirms a critical hit against a creature you threaten, the target of the critical hit provokes an attack of opportunity from you. If you hit with your attack of opportunity, all your allies gain a +2 bonus on attack rolls against that creature for 1 round. I would take that, especially as a martial version of this class. Excuse me. Resurging Words. Using the power of your mythic presence, you spur your allies even when all seems lost. Using this ability takes 10 uninterrupted minutes, during which time you give a stirring speech to your allies within 30 feet. If I remember correctly, this is a Cavalier ability. So this is something you would take as a Cavalier to increase what you can do. So I'd take that as a Cavalier. Rise Up. And all it does is it gives temporary hit points. So that way you know the resurging words. And if you're at a quarter of your hit points, you get double the amount of hit points temporary. And they last for 24 hours with this ability. So Rise Up is the next one. Rise Up. Your allies draw strength from your courage and leadership. As a standard action, you can expend 1 use of mythic power to grant a non-mythic ally to you and grant all your non-mythic allies within 30 feet 1 use of surge ability using your surge die. An ally can benefit from this ability only once every 24 hours. So if I wanted to share my surge ability with my allies, I'd take Rise Up. Shout of Defiance. You can channel holy energy into a righteous shout of defiance. As a standard action, you can expend 1 use of mythic power and 1 use of either channel energy or lay on hands. So this is meant for clerics and paladins. To create a 100-foot spread of healing energy. All allies within this spread heal a number of hit points equal to 1d6 plus double your tier. If this brings an ally from negative hit points to 0 hit points or more, the ally can immediately stand up from prone without provoking an attack of opportunity. As a cleric or paladin, I would definitely take that for sure. Smiting Aura. Whenever you use your Smite Evil ability, you can expend 1 use of your mythic power to create a 20-foot radius aura centered on you that lasts for a number of rounds equal to your tier. Any evil creature that starts its turn in or moves into the area takes a number of points of damage equal to your tier. This damage comes from holy power and is not affected by damage reduction or energy resistance. You must have the Smite Evil class ability to select this, so that's specifically designed for paladins. Stand Tall. Before you attempt a saving throw against a spell or effect that also targets 1 or more allies within 30 feet, you can expend 1 use of mythic power as an immediate action to allow your allies to use your saving throw results or their own, whichever is higher. That would be good if you need to share your saves. If you're the paladin-like class, you'd get, and I don't mean like paladin class, you get to add your charisma to your saves. So at some point, your saves are going to be better than everybody else's. Tactical Genius. You gain a bonus teamwork feat. You must meet all the prerequisites for this feat. An ally within 30 feet of you counts as having that teamwork feat for the purpose of you gaining bonuses from the feat. At the start of each day, you can spend 10 minutes and expend one use of mythic power to replace this teamwork feat with any other teamwork feat you qualify for. You can select this ability up to 3 times. Each time, you can gain additional bonus teamwork feat. If you have selected this ability more than once, at the start of each day, you can replace any number of teamwork feats this ability grants you, spending time and using the mythic power for each feat you replace. That can be useful. Me and my players aren't big on using teamwork feats, only because we just don't cooperate that much in our character creation or our character progression. Usually it's, what can I do that's cool? What can I do that's cool? But that would be very useful. Unwavering skill. You can always take 10 or 20 on checks using class skill, even if threatened or in a hazardous situation. You can't use this ability with skill checks that don't normally allow you to take 10 or take 20. So that'd be okay. It's not great, but I can see that being useful. 3rd tier martial path abilities. Aura of Perseverance. Your leadership keeps your allies going even when they're at death's door. Allies within 30 feet of you don't become unconscious or disabled when reduced to 0 hit points or fewer. As soon as you and an ally at 0 hit points or fewer are more than 30 feet apart, that ally becomes unconscious or disabled. So as long as they're close to you, when they're below 0 hit points, they're still able to fight. But as soon as they're 30 feet from you, they're not able to remain conscious. So that's sort of like a Paladin's Aura of Courage, except for hit points. Caster's Friend. You bolster the concentration of spellcasting allies standing next to you. A spellcaster who is adjacent to you gains a bonus on concentration checks equal to your tier. Furthermore, if a spellcaster fails a concentration check while adjacent to you, as an immediate action, you can expend one use of mythic power to allow that spellcaster to instead automatically succeed on that concentration check. That can be very beneficial, especially if there's a lot of spellcasters or very powerful spellcasters you want to help benefit with this. Commanding Presence. Your force of presence is so overwhelming that others know what you want and can comprehend what you are saying, even if they don't understand the words you speak. You can use your body language and tone of voice alone to ask questions and make statements to those who don't know your language. When they answer or respond to your communications, you must succeed at a DC 20 sense motive checks to get the general idea of what they are saying in return. Furthermore, you use a spell or ability with the language-dependent descriptor, you can still affect creatures that cannot understand the language you are using. But they must be able to hear you and must have an intelligence score of 1 or higher. So that's going to work on animals, because most animals have a 2 intelligence. That's interesting. Not sure I'd use it. Confidence. You can draw upon a deep reservoir of confidence in times of need. You can call on confidence 3 times per day to use the Surge Mythic ability without expending 1 use of Mythic power. You can select this ability up to 3 times. Each additional time you select it, you gain 3 additional uses of confidence per day. If I'm using the Surge ability a lot, I would take that. Demagogue. You have an unnatural ability to call and sway crowds with your commanding presence and flawless rhetoric. When in small town or large settlement, you can expend 1 use of mythic power to gather a crowd. Doing so takes 4d10 minutes. Add your tier to your charisma bonus and then multiply the sum by 5 to determine how many creatures are in the crowd. For example, a 4th tier marshal with a +6 bonus to charisma would gather as many as 50 creatures. The crowd remains for 1 hour and you gain a +10 competence bonus on diplomacy and intimidation checks to direct the crowd. You can use 1 use of your mythic power to extend this for another hour. So I wouldn't say that's great, but that's interesting. Dispel fear, you can rally your allies, relieving their fear. A swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to either end all fear effects affecting your allies within 30 feet of you, or end all fear effects on one ally within line of sight who can clearly see you and hear you. I would take that as a bard, that's for sure. I would also take that as a paladin. Flexible confidence. Your resolve is more useful than others. You can expend the use of your confidence ability as uses of mythic power for purpose of your martial path abilities. So the confidence and the flexible confidence, you would want to take them together. Glorious charge. You call your allies to make a coordinated charge at the same time as an immediate action. When you start your charge, you can expend one use of mythic power to allow an ally to charge immediately after your charge is complete. You can expend additional use to allow one more ally to charge per use spent. An ally's charge doesn't count towards the number of actions it can take on its next turn. So that one is built for the Cavalier. Master of Mercy. Your touch provides great relief. If you have the Mercy class feature, when you lay on hands, you can expend one use of mythic power to apply all the mercies of your level or lower instead of just the mercies you've selected. If you don't have a Mercy class feature, you can expend one use of mythic power as a standard action to remove a single condition from a creature you touched, using your tier as your paladin level to determine what mercies are available to you. You can select different mercies each time you use this ability. I would definitely take that as a paladin, for sure. Master of Shadows. You are a master of moving unseen and unheard and adept at guiding others in quiet and undetectable movement. When you or an ally within 30 feet attempts a stealth check, each of you roll twice and take the higher result. As a swift action, you can expend one use of your mythic power and add your tier to one ally's next stealth check. The ally must be within 30 feet of the check and must occur within the next minute. That'd be great for a bard. It'd be good if a rogue got that, but it's definitely great for a bard. Mythic Bond. Your hunter's bond ability is more powerful than most. It allows you to share your favorite enemy bonuses with your animal. Shared Alertness. Your presence and guidance allows others to avoid traps and other dangers. Allies within 30 feet of you that can clearly see or hear you gain your trap sense ability. If you have evasion or approved evasion, you can expend one use of your mythic power as an immediate action to grant that ability to one ally within 30 feet until the beginning of their next turn. That can make a big difference. I would definitely take that, especially if I have evasion. Imagine giving evasion to a paladin, a cleric, a cavalier, a fighter. Things that don't normally have evasion all of a sudden have evasion for a turn. Those massive fireballs that would decimate a party wouldn't be as effective. Shatter Resilience. You can channel your mythic power through your strike to lower your target's damage reduction. When you hit a creature that has a DR, you can expend one use of mythic power as part of your attack to lower the target's DR by an amount equal to your tier for 1 minute. Multiple uses of this ability on the same creature don't stack. I'd take that as a cleric or a paladin. Words of Hope. As a standard action, you can expend one use of mythic power to inspire allies within 30 feet radius, granting each of them the ability to roll twice and take the higher result on attack rolls, saving throws, and skill checks. Okay, so essentially you just give them 5th edition advantage. An ally can use this ability once per round for a number of rounds equal to half your tier, and must choose whether to roll twice before rolling the dice. Okay, so that's all the third tier type powers. Let's go into the sixth tier and finish the class off. Beacon of Hope. You are radiant. You radiate a supernatural aura that fills your allies with hope and resolve. All allies within 30 feet gain a +2 morale bonus against fear and emotion effects, and a +4 bonus on stabilization checks. Furthermore, each time one of your allies is subject to a healing spell or effect, it heals numbers of additional hit points equal to your tier. Once per day, as a standard action, you can expend one use of mythic power and end this aura to heal all allies within 30 feet of an amount of damage equal to 1d6 hit points per tier you possess. If dismissed, the aura automatically reactivates 24 hours later. I'd take that. Castigate. While your words can soothe and aid your friends, they are equally adept at assaulting your foes. As a swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to unleash a scathing verbal assault that demoralizes all opponents within 30 feet for 1 minute. So it's like Scanlan using cutting words, except it affects all the foes. As if you had successfully used intimidation skill. These opponents must be able to clearly see and hear you, but this ability is not language dependent. Fight on. With an order or a determined look, you spur a wounded ally to keep fighting. As an immediate action, you can expend one use of mythic power to allow a creature other than yourself that is reduced to fewer than 0 hit points to remain conscious and alive. The creature can't die from hit point damage until after the start of your next turn. You can extend this effect for 1 round at the start of your next turn by expending another use of mythic power as a free action. Though the creature can't be killed by hit point damage, any damage it takes still applies to its current hit points. When the ability's effects end, the creature falls unconscious or dies if its current hit points or other circumstances would otherwise cause it to do so. The creature must be within 30 feet of you to start or extend this effect. I can see that being very beneficial. Inspiring Assault. As a swift action, you can expend one use of mythic power to inspire your allies to greatness in combat. Once per turn, as a free action, each of your allies can either move up to its speed or make one melee or ranged attack at its full base attack bonus. These actions don't count against its actions for the turn. Once activated, this ability lasts a number of rounds equal to your tier, but immediately ends if you don't damage an opponent with an attack or spell on your turn. This ability doesn't stack with haste or similar effects. Surge of Inspiration. Your very presence pushes those around you to be their very best. As an immediate action, when an ally within line of sight misses with an attack or fails a saving throw, you expend one use of mythic power or your confidence ability to grant an ally the benefits of your surge ability on that attack roll or saving throw. The ally uses your surge dice and can apply the bonus after the result is resolved, possibly turning a failure into a success. Unswerving Loyalty. You are a bastion of strength and resolve, and you possess the ability to protect your mind from even the most powerful charms and compulsions. You gain immunity to non-mythic mind-affecting effects, though you can choose to be affected by them if you wish. When subject to a mind-affecting effect from a mythic source, you can expend one use of mythic power as an immediate action to gain immunity to that effect. Words of Valor. With a mere speech, you empower your allies to take on any foe. As a standard action, you can expend 2 uses of mythic power to inspire all of your allies within 30-foot radius, granting them the effects of the spell Heroism and making them immune to fear for 1 round per tier. Each mythic creature that is affected by this ability can use its surge ability once during this duration without having to expend one use of mythic power. And that is the last one. So that sounds more like a Cavalier one. The Unswerving Loyalty sounds more directed towards that of a Paladin. So and that is the Martial class. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. We are slowly getting towards the end of all the Mythic classes in the Mythic Adventures book. So that was a lot of reading. My throat's definitely feeling it. Well, until we all meet again.